Hello everyone and welcome to round 5 of the 2018 Nathan Young Designs Truck Series for 3WideRacing. I'm Kyle Heyer here with Finian DeCuna for SimTV. Finian, it's our first time broadcasting this league. We're 5 races into the season, but I'm looking forward to a great race here at Bathurst.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome for us. As guys that have mainly covered more of the road side of things, we are on a road course, but we're going to be covering pretty much stock car racing, so this is going to be a first for us, so this should be an exciting race.
Finian, the field is qualifying right now. 10 minutes here. We're going to have, 38 laps here tonight, and it's going to be a wild one out here in Australia. The league's first appearance out in Mount Panorama circuit. Looks like we're going to have about 30 cars entering this race, and your top 30 is going to be displayed on the left-hand side of your screen. For those watching on YouTube later, the race start time will be in the description, along with any other information that we can provide, including links to sponsors and links to the point standings. So we're looking forward to this one, and I'm really excited to get this one underway. We're working our way through qualifying right now. We'll take a look at Levi Zielinski, the number 59 machine. That Toyota Tundra working its way right down the mountain right now. Now, Finian, Bathurst is a very, very famous track in Australia, not only for the mountain, but for the high speeds that we see here. But today, these big, heavy stock trucks are going to be kind of a lumbering around here. Do you think you drive this differently in a stock car versus something like a GT3 car?
Yes, you absolutely do. I was trying to do some practice laps in here to just gauge what these guys are dealing with. These things cannot turn at all. You have to slow the car down. You have to slow the truck down a lot to around like 50, 60 miles an hour in it to get around the turns. And it's amazing because in GT cars or in road cars, you can turn at a relatively high rate of speed. You know, you slow the car down for the turn rate. But these things, you have to really, really slow the truck down. So it's going to be amazing to see how these guys can handle it, especially in the mountain section where it's tight and it has a lot of turns.
Yeah, and as we were watching in practice earlier, the lap times were down in the 2:10 region for the fastest drivers out there, but there was a big delta between the first driver and the last driver, and I don't really expect that to change for the race. I think this track will separate the men from the boys here, more so than most other tracks in the season. A lot of short tracks, a lot of dirt tracks. But this track, for sure, you got to have a big set of cojones to make your way down the mountain without crushing the wall or your fenders.
Yeah, and especially if you're running in the back of the pack, you got to work your way through 30 trucks to get to the front. And there's not a lot of places to pass.
Yeah, not a lot of places to pass. And as we were talking about the GT3 cars or other kinds of sports cars, the way that they are like a dart. They will point and shoot wherever you point them. These trucks, you'll get the back end sliding. You'll slide these things around, get the rear tires hot. Not a lot of downforce to work with, and they weigh a heck of a lot. So as you see, who are we watching here? Eric Mickey. We're familiar with him from the Scars IndyCar series as well as the Scars Ferrari GT3 Challenge and the Audi Cup series there as well. So good to see Eric out here. Kind of double dipping in a couple different leagues. Another one, another one of the drivers that is making another appearance is Jonathan DeCouger, the number 81. That's good to see him back out here. Driving a truck for once. He's wicked fast in the Ferrari, and I expect him to be pretty quick in the truck as well.
Yeah, we're looking at the practice times. He was second in practice, so he's definitely got the pace. So let's see if he can sit down and do some time in qualifying.
I guess on the trend of other drivers we've seen in Scars before, Steve Picacci in the number 11 is also here. I believe, I could be wrong about this, I believe Matt Hackathorn is also a member, but didn't really race a whole lot in the Scars series this year. But there's Picacci in his number 11 Chevrolet.
And here comes Eric Mickey, and he's going to lead the first set of guys laying down times.
Let's see a time go through there. Oh, there it is, 2:11.817. So that's a pretty good time to start off this time trial session. You get 10 minutes to qualify here, and that's enough for a couple laps if you got going quick. But you see Peter Short. Eric mentioned before the race that he and Peter Short were on the team that won the 12 Hours Bathurst here at iRacing. So they were quite familiar with this racetrack, and
Definitely shows.
Yeah, I think so far so good for these guys. Matt Hackathorn, the number 44. Shake and Bake Motorsports Toyota. Sponsored by KYB Suspension, Mishimoto, K&N, and Denso. Some of the sponsors listed here. I want to thank Corey Lindsay for getting us an excellent Excel spreadsheet full of lots of information. And it's going to take me a little minute to read off this as we're getting used to this series, and we're going to be probably pronouncing some names wrong and searching for information. But as the season wears on, we should be getting better and better at picking people out. So we'll apologize for that awkwardness the first broadcast here. There's a lot of drivers in this race. This is about double the field size we're used to working with. And we're pretty new. We've only been really doing this for about a month and a half, 2 months. So bear with us as we work with the learning curve here. Also some birth dates on there, which is awesome. And it looks like, whoop, we got one a little bit in the fence there, but that's all right. A nice fresh reset for the race. So under 4 minutes remaining in qualifying already. And Eric Mickey still with the best time at 2:11.817. The gap 0.05 back to the 22 Peter Short. There's Peter Short in his Toyota.
So let's head onward with them so we can see what these guys go through.
Heading down Skyline through the S's and into the Dipper. 22 Peter Short works his way down. Eisentech Enterprises. Sponsored by Kansas City Southern, the railroad there, and Mike's Hard Lemonade. Good to see a railroad-sponsored vehicle out here. That's I'm a train fanatic, so I can't say I don't like that scheme. It's pretty cool looking. Nice colors on that. And I think he's bailing out of this lap, Finian.
Yes.
And there's Kevin Finn in the number 14.
Yeah, this is going to be definitely a tricky turn. You have such a high rate of speed, and you got to blow it all the way back down to about 60 miles an hour as he hits to that turn. So.
Yeah, the Chase, one of the highest speed sections on the racetrack. You're on the brakes about as hard as you can be around here. You see Kevin Finn jumping into the pits. So it looks like he might be satisfied with that lap of a 2:13.378. Levi Zielinski in the number 59. We jumped with him right when we first jumped to the broadcast, but maintaining an 8th position right now. And so far we only have 12 cars on the board. I expect more to make a lap. Riding on board with Levi. Just lugging the car around about 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed, that you really got to be physical with the car. It's no being gentle with it. You need to make it turn. You need to point it in the right direction and throttle it.
As we head through the cutting and up to Frog Hollow, and we've got a nice good track map here to help me out. I'm an American circuit guy, so we got to learn a little bit about Panorama. But I guess I should know the corner names here. They're all pretty unique. Whoa! And Levi Zielinski's going to head into the wall and smash up the left front suspension of his machine, so that's unfortunate for that. But, you know, at least he's on the board. A couple other drivers don't even have times on yet, so. I'm going to clear up the ticker a little bit for those that are new to this. We're using a dual reel timing-based ticker. And drivers in yellow are on pit road, and drivers in red are 1 lap ahead of the driver that is being focused on, and in the blue, just like the relative box, are drivers 1 lap behind. All the times on here are relative to the car that we're focusing on. So right now you can see Thomas Morris in the number 27. There's no relative next to him because that's who we're looking at. So you can see the gap in front and behind him. Another thing with the ticker, you'll see it go green as, who is that? Nathan Velez goes up to 5th. So as drivers make overtakes on the racetrack, they will glow green and shoot up the ranking. So that's kind of cool for JRT. So we want to thank them for all their work that they do to make a pretty cool looking timing screen. We are going to move away from this eventually into another ticker, but that's going to come later on this season as we work with ATVO to kind of fix some things that I needed to get it to work quite right. Under a minute left in qualifying now. Eric Mickey's still on pole. He has improved to a 2:11.569. So that gap between him and Peter Short is now 0.3 of a second. And now 35 seconds left. There's Mike Stevens in the 63, currently P11. We'll see if he can improve this time by. And doesn't look like it.
Oh,
hey, Peter Short jumps up to the top of the board with a 2:11.556 by 0.013 seconds. So about 13 thousandths of a second is the difference between Peter Short and Eric Mickey. teammates on that Eisentech Enterprises machine. Also, Jordan Teal, who is P4 right now, is also part of that team. So he's in pit road. A lot of cars in pit lane here. And qualifying is going to conclude.
Here's one driver. Surprised hasn't set a time down yet, but here he comes around the final.
Yeah, Jonathan DeCouger in the number 81. To come around and complete his lap. Hopefully he can get a time on the board. Yes, he does, and he's going to go straight to the top of the board with a 2:10.6. 9/10 of a second faster than Peter Short, so a flying lap by DeCouger.
And that is why I was surprised.
Yep.
Great time by him.
Excellent time. Steve Ficacci is going to... Oh, here's Cameron Rich in the 17. I believe we've seen him before. That'd be this, the Scars IndyCar Series. I think he is double dipping there with that Boeing number 17. Going to come across the line, see if he can improve. He does.
Wow.
And straight to P2 for Cameron Rich. So a lot of fast times coming in here. Last few moments of qualifying. We're looking at Justin Krzyzewski. I hope I got that name right. See if he can improve this time by. Intel on the hood of that machine. And up to P5. So these late in the going qualifiers are jumping up the board quite quickly. And bumping Eric Mickey down to 4th and Peter Short down to 3rd. Here's Peter Short going for another lap. I'm not sure if this is an out lap or if this is a flying lap, so we'll find out when he gets to the line. And Eric Mickey's going to complete his lap and go back up to P3, so good return effort. Let's see if Peter Short can improve.
I don't think he does. I believe it's has the lights showing that he completed his final lap, but we'll see.
See if JRT is going to count him in. Maybe he's just out there for a little bit of practice too. That'll never hurt. And not going to improve, so that lap will not count. And oh my goodness, he's going to just lick the stamp and send it, as Finian likes to say.
I think he went a little too much send there.
I think so. I'm not sure if anybody's still left out there. Maybe Carlos Acosta. He's still out on track, but I don't think he's going to get around. No, definitely not. All right, so looks like 18 drivers put a time on the board, Finian. Can you come from 25th on back and go for the win?
It is a very, very tall order, and I think if you have good traffic management and if you know you have the pace, you can definitely do it. But it's a matter of just hoping you have some good luck, because things can get ugly on lap 1, especially with this field size.
Yeah, 30 trucks starting this race, and that first turn, the 90-degree hell corner, as they like to call it. I think it's going to be hell for quite a few drivers in this race. So about 20 seconds left in qualifying. We're watching Carlos Acosta do a cool-down lap, cooling down that Chevrolet Silverado V8 motor. And the checkers are in the air. We're going to line them up and get them running for 38 laps around Mount Panorama. Like everybody's in. We're going to get them ready and grid it up shortly. See our timing refreshing there, getting everybody sorted. And there's the field behind the rough RT12 pace car. You're looking at your pole sitter, the number 81 of Jonathan DeCouger. All right, Finian, we got 30 trucks on the grid here. We have 38 laps. Over-under prediction of how many are going to finish? This is a death week for these guys, I think. I'm just throwing that prediction out.
I'm putting out a nice number, and this is, in my opinion, a nice number. I say 20, because this is a treacherous track, and it can claim many trucks. So,
no, I can't even get around this place for one lap. I can't imagine doing it for 38. I mean, every time I've gone on this track in iRacing, I struggle to make it out there, and I'm no slouch. So these guys are going to have a lot of skill to get around here, and especially for Jonathan DeCouger for running in the 210s. That was an incredible lap. So we're gridding up, finishing up, filling up the back straightaway here. We'll set them up. And stick around post-race. We're going to interview the the top couple drivers, and we'll try to jump in on that and see where the championship standings will be, if that is something we can grab at the end of the race. We're going to be getting used to that. In the next couple weeks, we're going to try to get the point standings in here and keep you updated on the championship battle as we work through this 17-round season. A lot of short tracks fitting, a lot of dirt tracks as well. Road courses are few and far between, and this is definitely different from one of the other road courses we see here later this season.
Yeah, definitely. It's a hell of a lot different from Lime Rock, which is a much shorter and a much quicker track as far as racing around. And Coda is a F1 style circuit, so completely different corners there as well. So 3 different, very, very different kinds of tracks.
Very different indeed, and the rough RT12 pace car is going to peel off here and drag 30 NASCAR Camping World Series trucks behind them. A bunch of Chevys, a bunch of Toyotas, some even listed as Fords on here, which is an interesting development, but got that Ford power under the hood, can't blame them for that. We're going to ride on board with the blimp camera for the first corner here, just so that we can keep an eye on what's going on, because I'm going to be really, really impressed if these guys can get through this corner all in one piece. So another thing, we're not going to cut to replays on the first lap just because we don't want to pull away from all this tight racing action. And if there's anything that happens, we will cut to it at the end of the race and show you a replay of that. So first lap action, we'll show you at the end of the race if there is a crash. We'll hope to try to catch it as they round the final corner. And green flag is in the air for 38 laps here at Bathurst. Down into turn 1. Jonathan DeCouger is going to lead him in. Orderly so far. Looks like everyone's going to make it through. Down the mountain straight towards Griffin's Corner. 150 plus miles an hour. Looks like everyone's going to survive.
Whoa, the 17 is very squirrely.
Yeah, 17 and Cameron Rich really, really aggressive here in the opening lap. But Eric Mickey's going to get around him for P2. Great start for Eric. We'll work our way up the mountain. Tight confines here. One after the other here. And on the left, you'll see drivers glow in green as they make passes. And drivers that are falling down the order will glow red. So you won't miss a thing. Riding on board with the 22, Peter Short. Following closely on the 23's rear bumper, that's Justin Krzyzewski. Sun in your eyes heading down the mountain into Skyline, into the S's, and into the Dipper for the first time. Looks like Mike Stevens had an accident that back down there, Finian, dropping down the order. A little bit of damage on that 63.
Yeah, if we can get the camera to the front there, yeah, that's a lot of damage to that truck.
That truck is going to be hurt severely with aero performance. With these big V8s, a lot of torque. You might be able to work through it, but... Oh, we got Nick Miller behind him. Might have taken a spill into the wall as well. Oh, he kept it clean, actually. It looked like he was heading straight for it. But Nick Miller and Mike Stevens maybe not having the start that they wanted for this race. Back up front, Jonathan DeCouger. Hops the curb. Runs a little bit wide onto the grass, but no harm, no foul. He's got a 1.5 second lead over the 6 of Eric Mickey. Heading down into Murray's Corner, and he's going to complete lap 1 as the leader. Cameron Rich to the inside of Eric Mickey. Not going to be able to complete it.
Yeah, made it look there, but there was no space for him.
He is dogging the number 6. Right on that rear bumper. Trying to get the power down. 500 plus horsepower in the rear wheels of these machines, and they will be spinning if you try to put that pedal down too fast. Riding on board with the Silver Fox Racing Designs number 6. Car gets light over that crest there, Finian, and that's something that can really throw you out of whack if you're not ready for it.
Yeah, in practice, I was having trouble getting over there at full speed. I had to let off, but these guys are able to floor it down there. As Mickey gets loose coming out of that corner, and it seems that Rich is going to take advantage.
Cameron Rich going to take the second position back. He's going to start running away from the number 6.
Oh, we have a car that's...
Dropping down the order, that's Nathan Velez, excuse me. He's in the pits. We're going to go for a replay on that one, find out what happened. Replay on the number 48, Nathan Velez. Nathan Velez is driving that Rebel Racing Ford.
Oh, he just got loose getting up there.
Ah.
It went straight into the wall.
That's no good. We don't like to see that this early in the running, but Nathan Velez probably out. Another driver, Zach Trevino, also off the racetrack. So, claiming, oh, he's sitting prone on the racetrack right now. He's going to get it back going.
Yeah, nice job on him letting the field pass by so he can get spun around.
Yeah, that's one of the worst things you can do here at Bathurst with all these blind corners, is pull back out on the racetrack without looking first. So, props to him. Meanwhile, Jonathan DeCouger has extended his lead to 1.7 seconds over Cameron Rich in the Boeing 17. It looks like there's a good battle going on for 13th position right now with Levi Zielinski and Tate Lytle in the 56. Ooh, over the curb.
Fukashi also wants to get a say in that battle.
Yeah, that's Steve Fukashi there, my bad. I thought we were looking at the guy in front of him, but yeah, Levi Zielinski we're watching in practice here. He's currently running 14th. Looking at the rear wing, rear spoiler with the number 11 of Fukashi. Fukashi came into the Scars Ferrari GT3 Challenge very late in the season and did very, very well. Very talented driver, the number 11. Through Hell Corner onto Mountain Straight on lap 3 of 38. So far, no major incidents, but Skylar Nissel's going to lose a spot back there in 24th. Just slide down one.
See if Fukashi can get a run and make a move.
Whoa! Fukashi slideways, and he's going to hold on to it. That was an incredible slide. But now he's going to be under attack from the 87 of Richard Hines.
A good save. And oh, even
Wade Lear in the number 03 looks like it was.
Yeah, everybody's sliding all over the place.
Like I said, getting the power down in these big heavy machinery is really, really tricky. And these big NASCAR racing slicks aren't quite enough to make putting the power down easy. And you can see with Fukashi and Lear setting the wheels for a little spin early here in the going. You gotta be careful there. If you heat up the tires too much, you're gonna make your life miserable because those rear tires will go away, and you're gonna have a hard time putting the power down as the race goes on. Over the curbing, down through the S's here at Bathurst. Wow, Levi Zielinski couldn't put a piece of paper between him and the wall.
Yeah, that's really the key. Is you want to try to get as close to the wall as you can, but you're gonna be playing with the devil because if you get too close, you're gonna get a lot of damage to the car.
Yeah, very unforgiving concrete walls here at Bathurst, and if you even nick it, that could end your race with wheel damage, and that is never a fun thing. Meanwhile, up front, you're not missing a thing. Jonathan DeCouger's lead is dwindled just a little bit to 1.3 seconds, but we're looking right now at 23.
Peter Short was really loose out of that corner.
Yeah, Peter Short's dropped a couple spots and is now P5 behind Justin Krzyzewski. Working their way right now through Maurice Corner, back onto the front straight. Oh, Richard Hines. Oh, wow, we got a crash. Wade Lear involved.
Oh, and Steve Fukashi.
Well.
So we can get a replay on that.
We can take a look at that and see what happened here. Riding on board with the 03 of Wade Lear. Oh, just downshift and missed a shift, Finian.
Yeah, and I think he's going to come and collect Fukashi. Yeah.
Wow, the 87 did a great job getting stopped for that. Richard Hines did a phenomenal job getting on the binders and avoiding that.
Yeah, I'm sure he got really scared from that, so nice record points from him.
Yeah, a little bit of damage for the 03 Wade Lear, but he's going to continue. Richard did such a good job. That was very impressive. Not a whole lot of brakes on these cars. Cast iron brake rotors, and as you see Richard Hines, not a scratch on that car, considering what just happened. He's going to get away with that and be 15th. And meanwhile, Mike Stevens is back in 26 is heading to pit lane. You can see that with the yellow on his name on the ticker. Back up front with Justin Krzyzewski trying to hold off Peter Short for 4th.
Short is just really good at hitting his apexes in this section. And he's putting a lot of pressure on Krzyzewski.
Try to get a good run out of Forrest's elbow onto the Conrad straight. And use a little bit of slipstream here, a little bit of draft to get yourself rolling, and it looks like Peter Short is going to try to take advantage of it down into the chase. He's going to go around the inside and pass Justin Krasneski for P4. Great pass there by Peter Short.
Yeah, Krasinski, I guess he let off the gas. He didn't want to have. It was going to be really awkward if these guys are side by side. I find it terrifying to go side by side in a GT car around here. I can't imagine how it is going side by side in a truck run.
Yeah. Going through the chase side by side is never really something fun. Richard Hines, is he having a problem? Oh yeah. Oh, that was sketchy. He's got to hold on to that, see if he can get a point in the right direction here. And he is going to. So a little bit of a loop out there at Forest Elbow for the 87. Peter Short has gapped the 23 just by a little bit on Mountain Straight. I'm taking another look back at Levi Zielinski. And that's Tate Lytle in the 56. And they're side by side heading down the front straightaway.
Yeah, and just a little exchange of position, no confrontation.
Zielinski's going to give that up to Tate Lytle, so move the 56 of Tate up to 13th. And
oh, I was wrong. There's going to be some confrontation. Here they go.
Battling side by side down Mountain Straight, heading towards Griffin's Corner. And moves Zielinski back up to 13th. Clean pass right around Tate Lytle once more.
Let's see if Lytle can have a final say in this.
Yeah, so far a couple spins, but nothing really major that I would have expected out of Bathurst. These guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, definitely. Everything's been usually collected by in just like a single car incident. But yeah, great job by these guys.
Oh, Cameron Richfinian has moved up to the lead. He's gotten around Jonathan DeCouger while we were watching that battle there with Zielinski and Lytle.
I think DeCouger might have had a issue.
A little bit of a slippy slidey, you think?
Probably.
But if you look at their best lap time, Cameron Rich was a 10th faster, and that was last lap. So he is on a roll right now. Coming from, I believe he started P2 or P3, but he is doing a great job. A little bit of sideways there. Ooh, he almost lost it. Good job, but DeCouger has not let him get very far away, and I expect this battle to continue.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't think DeCouger is going to let him get away with this. He wants that position back.
Deep on the brakes into the final corner and back onto the pit straight. Jonathan DeCouger is going to close that gap to under half a second now. Meanwhile, just behind these guys, Eric Mickey is holding serve in third, but he is about 4 seconds back from DeCouger. All right, everything's kind of evened out for the time being, and we're looking at our timing screen here. Cameron Rich's best time is a 2:11.110, and the last car running on the lead lap is going to be Mike Stevens in the 63 with a 2:23.855. So big delta between the fastest and slowest cars. But we're right on board the gyro cam. This is a great camera here that Finian has set up for us. So you can see the elevation and the banking and the bumpiness of this racetrack. As we head up past Frog Hollow and Salmon Park, through McPhillamy Park, and down into Skyline, the S's, and the Dipper. The famous combo here known as the Mountain.
Yeah, I think it seems like DeCouger is actually losing a bit of ground to Rich, so Rich might be able to pull away here.
Over the curbs, Jonathan DeCouger hops those things, but I think Cameron's been increasing his gap going up the mountain. It seems like DeCouger's better going down in the rest of the lap. So this could be a pretty even battle if DeCouger can keep himself in the draft on the Conrad Straight. Really working that motor there. Checking in with Matt Hackathorn, the number 44.
Yeah, he's been closing his gap to the number 5 of Sam Close, so see if he can try to get up there and compete for 11th.
It's the Shake and Bake Motorsports Toyota. Riding on board. Didn't get a great run off that corner, but he's going to try to close in on Sam Close in the 5. $160, 170 miles an hour. Bringing these motors out. He's going to almost get to 180. Oh, I think we had a blinker there. It looked like Krasneski might have an issue. 23 car? Well, looks like he's alright. Looked like he might have just blinked or had a issue there. The 59 truck, however, maybe not. Thought he dropped a couple spots, but looks like he's exactly where he was. So we're working lap 7 right now, 38. So what are we, almost a fifth of the way through this one?
Battle with Hackathorn and Close. This is the closest battle on the racetrack.
That Hackathorn, that bright yellow Toyota. Backfire, spitting out of the exhaust pipes here. That looks great. iRacing does a great job with how this sim looks. It looks incredible, and some of these effects, especially with the backfire, looks absolutely awesome here at Bathurst. And the setting sun in the background, heading up the mountain for the 7th time. And out up front, not really missing a whole lot. Cameron Rich still extending his lead, now 8/10 of a second, 9/10 of a second now. Eric Mickey, Peter Short, Jordan Teely are top 5. Justin Krasinski, David Wilson, Paul Ross, Kevin Finn, and Thomas Morris rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, Hackathorn is really, he's got up to the back bumper of Close, so we're going to see if Close ends up making mistakes under pressure.
You gotta watch your brakes down here. Oh, it looks like Close is gonna run a little wide, and he's gonna just let by the 44. Unless that was a potential issue, but he's just gonna let him by. Easy pass for Hackathorn. He's gonna move himself into 11th. He's got a little ways to go, about 2.5 seconds if he's gonna want to get into the top 10, but still plenty of time left to do it. Now looking back out up front, and the gap has been kind of stable, actually. Now about 6/10 of a second.
Yeah, Rich got loose out of that corner, so we'll see if Takuji can close it back out. But yeah, they've just been going back and forth, extending, closing in. So I think these guys might be going at it for the next 30 laps. And it's honestly amazing that we still have 30 laps to go. It's felt like a lot longer than that.
Yeah, Takuji has closed in just a little bit. That gap's still 6/10 of a second. Working the way down the mountain straight again, over 150 miles an hour. For the time being, looks like everyone's kind of spread themselves out and is kind of running their own race. And I think, Finney, in a lot of the stock car racing on road courses is more about racing the track than the other competitors. As we've seen, the track itself can take out your competitors, so really don't need to race them that hard if the track's going to take them out. So you got to be smart. Be smooth on your inputs, and that'll bring you up the running order.
Yeah, these things are definitely a handful to lug around here, so you're more concerned of your own race than the guys around you, so that's really probably one of the keys here, to just, focus on your own race and hit your marks.
Watching Eric Mickey, the number 6 for Eisentech Enterprises. We'll make sure that's correct. I'm once again looking at a huge Excel document, learning my way through. And that... Where is Eric Mickey? I'll get back to you on that, Finney. Keep them busy. I'm going to look down this Excel document. It has like 150 people in it.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so the top guys, pretty much the gaps between first and second and third and fourth are the closest on the racetrack. So, yeah, these guys up ahead and these guys in general just have a huge lead over the rest of the pack. It's 10 seconds separating fourth and fifth.
Bombshell Motorsports.
There you go.
Same as his other team. I should have known that. But okay, now we got that all figured out. Once again, we're learning new names and trying to learn some old names, I suppose. But Cameron Rich leading now Takuji by a second. And Eric Mickey is about 6 seconds back from that lead battle, so a little ways to go. But Peter Short has closed back in. Kind of fell back early in the running order, but is making up that time. And currently he's running on pace. Actually, his last lap was faster than the leader by 7/10 of a second.
Yeah, so he might be able to catch some fire, hopefully, late in this race and try to work his way back up. Because these guys aren't too terribly far from the front two guys. They're only 6 or 7 seconds down the road. They're pretty much on the same straight. And here comes Peter Short making a move.
Peter Short looking to the inside of Eric Mickey, and Eric's just going to let him by. One of the things I was looking at is they're heading down into Hell Corner. Peter Short was squirrely on the brakes, and that might be a symptom of wheel hop. And wheel hop is basically when the rear tires chatter and start bouncing like basketballs when you get on the brakes too hard, and that will catch you if you're not being careful in those heavy braking zones.
So yeah, so Peter Short might be trying to pick up the pace late here. He might have been actually, he might be just been saving his tires, saving his car up to make a bit of a charge here. So he's going to try to, let's see if he can try to work his way up to the top two guys.
It's going to be fun to watch that gap close, but Jonathan DeCouger has fallen off the pace just a little bit. Was about 4/10 slower than leader Cameron Rich last time by, and is now 1.3 seconds behind the leader. But heading down the mountain, you see him close in just a little bit. DeCouger's really, really fluid, a very smooth driver, as we've seen in the Ferrari GT3 Challenge for Scars. But that gap just slowly increasing now, as Cameron Rich is just, it's such a good run out of Forest Elbow.
Yeah, definitely. These, well, definitely the road, if you're good at road courses, it definitely transfers over. But these things are almost on the opposite end of the spectrum from a GT car. You don't have any traction control, don't have any ABS. It's a lot slower in the corners, so you gotta man. It's a whole different skill set, but definitely DeCouger showing what he's got.
Wow, DeCouger just took a huge chunk of curb down there, and I believe that was the chase. Man, he bounced probably 3 feet in the air. That's one of these things I love about stock cars is you can abuse the suspension all you want without much fear of upsetting the car. You can use those curves to help the car rotate. Truck rotate. That's going to be something new for us. First time doing stock cars here in iRacing, first time broadcasting them. And these aren't really stock cars, more like stock trucks, so we got to get used to that. We've been doing GT3 cars and Indy cars for too long.
And it seems like Cameron's about to catch some lap traffic here.
Yeah, first lap traffic they will have seen. The 99 of Nick Miller looks like it.
Just gonna let these guys by. Let's see if there's any more traffic up ahead. No, not really. It's pretty spread out, so.
A little bit of clear track in front of him to race for the lead, but that gap again, Finian, still 1.3, 1.4 seconds. I don't see it closing very much, and even Peter Short fell back down to 4th. Eric Mickey got back around him, and now the gap is now 8 seconds up to DeCouger. So that battle has kind of ceased, and as much as we thought Peter Short was going to flying up there, a little bit of a struggle last lap. 2:14s for both of them, which is about 2 seconds off the pace. So slow lap for those guys. There's Nick Miller getting out of the way of the lead lap battle series. Going to cut the S's just a little bit, let the lead lap traffic by as they head down into the dipper.
There's a lap car ahead of them that's giving them a little trouble. Holding Mickey up, and Short's going to close way in.
I believe that's the 83 of Johnny Thomas.
This is going to help Short close all the way back up, and he's now back in this fight for 3rd.
Again, using that draft on this long Conrad straight. These trucks punch a huge hole in the air, and you're trying to use every bit of that horsepower. Going to run wide here a little bit and get deep on the brakes into the chase. He's going to go for it deep on the binders underneath Eric Mickey. Hopefully he can get it woed down over the curb, and he will complete that pass. But Mickey's going to look back to the inside. No, he's going to have to give it back up.
Yeah, solid move by the 22. Great job. And it's really hard when you're trying to slow all the way down and also make a pass. So, yeah, it definitely takes a lot of skill to pull that off, and he definitely has it.
It's always scary going down into the chase in any race car, especially without ABS. If you get on the brakes too hard, that's not a whole lot of fun. But Peter Short completes that pass. Paul Ross dropped a couple spots. Last corner there, number 18.
I might have had a little off-track excursion.
They're running pretty well, P11 right now. Be a pretty good points day for him if he finishes where he is.
Since we're back here, it's a close battle for 8th place between Kevin Finn and Thomas Morris.
Thomas Morris, born in... Hey, that's actually pretty cool. February 22nd, 1988. I got a... my friend Joel was born on February 22nd. That's kind of neat. But Thomas Morris driving for Pinnacle Racing in the Toyota that got that stat Toyota. There it is. Number 27. Trying to chase down Kevin Finn in the 14th. Kevin Finn driving for Avon Racing for Crown Royal and Tag Heuer. They got Bart's root beer on the truck this week. That's one of my favorite brands of root beer. I gotta call that out. I was just drinking it today. Little bringing some personal experience into that one, but good to see Kevin Finn running well, P8 right now. Ooh, Peter Short, a little bit of a wiggle.
Yeah, I saw the dolts are closing between him and Mickey, and yeah, these guys are still going at it up there.
They've been trading spots for 3 or 4 laps now. And we're just under a third of the way through this, and this battle doesn't seem to be waning as quickly as the one for the lead did.
Here's also another battle that we've seen kind of subsided between Teal and Kuneski.
Yeah, Krzyzewski hasn't really lost Jordan Teal in the 33, so he's trying to close that gap back up. And Richard Hines is on pit road. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of damage, maybe just stopping for getting some fresh rubber or something. He's going to pull back out onto the racetrack shortly. Side by side, Jordan Teal and Justin Krzyzewski. And Krzyzewski's going to take that spot from Jordan Teal, and they're going to head back onto the pit straight and move Krzyzewski up to 5th. Good run for him.
Oh, here's a battle that's heated up. Here he comes Mickey.
Side by side, Peter Short and Eric Mickey trading blows once again. Heading down Mountain Straight. Peter Short's going to run to the inside, get a little bit loose. He's going to take that spot back again. This is a great battle for 3rd.
Yeah, sure with the old over-under trick, and it worked for him, so he's going to maintain dominance. But yeah, Mickey, from what it looks like, Mickey's going to be back up to battling in a lap or 2. So
yeah, these guys aren't teammates here in the Nathan Young Science Truck Series, but they were in fact teammates when they won the 12 Hours of Bathurst. So they are familiar and they are friends.
It's good to see good racing between some friends. You know, no contact, just great, good old racing.
Great racing here today. Also want to mention Justin Krzyzewski. One of the part-time drivers here doesn't have a charter, so he's only making part-time appearances here. There he is, running that 23. So great run for him. He's not running full-time, so good job.
I think you should consider running full-time, running 5th here. That's an amazing job.
Is in fact doing a great job running in the top 5 for the time being. Now working lap 12. Meanwhile, up for the lead, the lap times have dropped off about 2.5 seconds from the beginning of the race. Cameron Rich just ran a 2:12.884. Jonathan DeCouger with a 2:13.169. And working through some lap traffic, that's the 31 of Skylar Nissel. And Nissel's going to let him on by and head into the pits.
There's going to be a chain of cars that Rich is going to have to get past, and if he can't get past them in the mountain section, Cruz is going to have a way to get back up to him.
Yeah, that gap has increased to 2.4 seconds. And last time by, it was about 0.8 of a second was the gap between Rich and DeCouger, give the advantage to Rich. The lap traffic has been extremely considerate here tonight. Not something I really would have expected.
I gotta say, great job pretty much to a lot of the drivers. I personally had trouble with lap cars, so the fact that these guys are letting the leaders by and not giving them too big of a fuss is a great job by them.
Yeah, it looks like now we have about 16 cars on the lead lap, and that number is ever shrinking as some drivers are making their first pit stop.
Yeah, Krzyzewski's coming in and dropping from 5th, so yeah, we'll see him and see where he falls back out.
Yeah, so Krzyzewski in pit lane for the time being. Looks like some other drivers are making their way on. Paul Ross in the number 18 Chevrolet. As well as Levi Zielinski is also on pit road down there in 23rd. He's fallen off a little bit from where he was running earlier. And Krzyzewski's going to jump back out on the racetrack. And still running 11th. Ooh.
Got the power down and near pass.
Yeah, so it looks like about half the field has made their pit stop already. And there is still more to be made by at least the top 10. And Steve Ficacci is also not pitted, as well as the 24 of Carlos Acosta and Todd Smith in the number 1 machine.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when the leaders are going to pick. And one thing I want to ask you, so picture yourself in DeCouger's position right now. Do you want to pit when Rich pits, or do you want to try to undercut or do the overcut?
I'm all about the undercut. I think that could really get you, especially with how close DeCouger has been to Cameron Rich's pace. I think doing an undercut here might be a smart thing to do. as long as the fuel mileage for him all works out and everything. But I would say that's probably a smart idea, and tires will mean a lot here, as like we said, the best time for Cameron Rich is a 2:11.1 as we see him heading to pit road.
Yeah, so let's see. Does DeCouger follow him in? Yes, he does.
I think that's Cameron Rich kind of just forced his hand there. I don't think he really gave DeCouger a whole lot of options. Cougar's just have to follow him in.
Yeah, so now let's see. It's going to be a matter of will these guys mess up on the pit stop, since Peter Short also comes in. But notably, Eric Mickey stays out, so he's going to inherit the lead.
Eric Mickey's going to jump up to P1, stay out on the racetrack. Meanwhile, DeCouger and Rich are right next to each other in pit lane. And we'll see their stop end shortly. Then, yep, it looks like Cameron Rich is going to beat him out, and yeah, DeCouger's going to lose a little bit of ground in the pits. Pretty big amount, actually. Now down about 3.5 seconds from Cameron Rich in the number 17. Yeah, so meanwhile up front, 16-second lead for Eric Mickey, but he's going to have to come in and make a pit stop. So Eric Mickey, Thomas Morris, Sam Close, David Wilson, Kevin Finn, although David Wilson is on pit road right now. Those are the drivers that have left to make
a lot of drivers are on pit road now.
Drivers on pit road again, highlighted in yellow on the side of your screen.
Mac Ackerthorn back there as well.
So a little bit of shuffling and a little bit of fumbling as we see Jordan Teal in a battle with Steve Ficacci here. And there's the 99 truck. That's a lap machine, Nick Miller. Oh, wow. Jordan Teal wheeling it.
He sees Ficacci ahead of him and he really wants that position.
But notably, Steve Ficacci is not pitted yet, so really the battle with Jordan Teal is with the 23 of Justin Kruzineski, who is 6 seconds up the road. But Jordan Teal making good use of those fresh tires. And is going to chase down Steve Ficacci. We'll ride on board with him down through the S's and see if he can close up that gap. And one of the things fitting about Bathurst is heading down this mountain as you see Ficacci's just allowed by. That makes my point totally moot. But what I was about to say was you want to be careful on the brakes behind, especially cars that haven't pitted yet. Braking points might differ a little bit. Some different drivers take this corner very differently, and you do not want to end up causing a log jam down here in the S's.
And here we come back, and Eric Mickey's going to head into... Oh!
Woo! Is that a penalty there? I don't know if that's a penalty or not. Probably not.
For his sake, I hope it's not a penalty. It may or may not, depending. It's kind of weird with iRacing, depending on where you go off and where you join back. So hopefully he doesn't get a penalty. That'd be very unfortunate for his race. But yeah, that was definitely scary. If he missed the pit road, that would have cost him a lot of time.
I'm inclined to think that wouldn't give you a penalty, but I guess we'll find out shortly.
Here we go, as Cameron Rich takes the lead back.
And through that pit stop cycle, Jonathan DeCouger dropped about... actually, kind of cycled out exactly where he was. Gained a little bit of ground on that outlap.
Peter Short's going to jump just ahead of Eric Mickey, and yeah, Eric Mickey's going to lose a lot of time.
Yeah, there's the difference between the undercut, as you can see. Mickey's going to lose several seconds on the driver he was battling in the 22 Peter Short. Short is actually, if you look at it, he's kind of closed up over the cycle and has made up a little bit of ground on the leaders.
Yeah, let's see if he can do anything with the fresh rubber. The leaders also have fresh rubber, but ooh, wow, we've seen Short being able to put a decent amount of power. And if we look at the best times by these top three guys, they're all within about a tenth of a second as far as times go. So Short's definitely got a lot more work to do than DeCouger does, but we'll see if he can get a bit of the wall there.
Yeah, a little chunk of the wall never hurt nobody as long as he didn't hit it too hard. These trucks are pretty resilient.
Yeah, he's flirting with the walls here.
You can really hear that engine whining at the top of its rev range. These trucks, even though they're big V8s, they like to be revved out. You can hear it at work. Take a look at Todd Smith. So this battle here, Todd Smith, Richard Hines, and Nathan Velez, these are the last three drivers on the lead lap. We got 17 right now on the lead lap.
Yeah, Hines is catching a line, yep. One's going to let him by.
Out up front, the gap with the leaders is actually closing. It's closed about 7/10 of a second between Rich and DeCouger, and I'm interested to see when they make their way back onto the pit straight what DeCouger's last lap was. because that gap has come down a significant amount, and notably Peter Short is also bringing that gap down as well. So I wonder if lap traffic maybe had a hand in that?
Probably. You know, it really, when it comes to lap traffic, it's all about catching guys in the right place at the right time. If you catch these guys like on the beginning part of the lap or the last part of the lap, you know, there's easy places to pass them. But up in the mountain, there's not a lot of places to pass. So if you get caught behind someone, you're pretty much going to stick behind them for that whole part, and you're going to lose valuable time.
So Jonathan DeCruzer's last lap was a 2:11.276, which is about 0.7 of a second quicker than leader Cameron Rich. So we'll keep an eye on that battle as we have been. And Peter Short now 7.5 seconds back from Jonathan DeCruzer, which is half a second. Actually, wow, last time, a 2:10.821, which I think
that is the fastest lap
by 0.3 of a second. So big improvement for Peter Short.
Making good use of that rubber. So yeah, definitely will be interesting to see if he can close the gap to DeCruzer and them. But time will tell, and we still got quite a bit of racing left to go.
We're almost halfway through this one. And Peter Short's have to find a little bit more speed if he's going to want to catch these guys in that amount of time. But because it's one thing to catch them, it's a whole other thing to pass them. As we've seen, Cameron Rich can be a pretty hard guy to pass. Oh, into the wall, Peter Short. And as we say that, that is probably going to end that battle. That is going to be some pretty heavy damage. Let's take a look at that, see if we can dissect what happened there. Let's ride on board with them and see if we can figure out what happened. Heading up the mountain here with the 22 of Peter Short. Trying to put the power down over the crest. Just got out from underneath him, Finian.
Yeah, it seemed like the car just bottomed out. Yep, into the wall he goes.
Wow, great job saving that truck and not damaging it further. And he might be okay. The wheel might be a little off, but at least it's running.
Yeah, I would say he's running straight so far, so seems to be good, although he definitely lost a lot of time.
I wonder if we can jump on board with the roll bar cam and see if we can see his wheel input there, see if the wheel's nice and straight. I'm not sure if that will show. Oh, it looks like it's pretty straight, so maybe he escaped. Kind of pancaked it right on. Didn't really mess up the camber too much.
Yeah, and he's not coming into the pit, so he's definitely going to stay out there.
So definitely hurt. Whoa, as he slides on the brakes again. There might be some wheel hop there. And combined with the damage, that's going to make that 22 a hard truck to drive.
I think one person who's really going to like the fact that he hit the wall is Eric Mickey. He's catching back up.
Eric Mickey working his way around the lap truck of Todd Smith in that number 1. Yeah, Eric Mickey could definitely take advantage of this. But that's such a shame for Peter Short, because he really was, you know, I think the truck to beat at that point, after running the fastest lap of the race by 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, and I think, what happened there is I think United just pushed it a little too far than what he could handle, and the truck just got away from him. So, it's really, that's the thing with a driver, you need to know your limit. And, you know, sometimes you might just end up pushing the car just a bit too far, and it ended up biting.
Last truck on the lead lap right now is going to be Nathan Velez in the number.
Sorry.
Oh. Head up to the leader so we can get a good look at that. So that's going to put 14 trucks on the lead lap with Carlos Acosta, the last truck running. And that lead has increased to 3.1 seconds, so Cameron Rich extending his advantage. And ran 0.3 quicker than DeCruzer that last time by, so don't expect that much to change. And if we look at Peter Short's last lap time, 2:17.5, so 6 seconds slower than the leaders with that damage. All right, we're almost halfway through this one. And Cameron Rich down into the chase. That is such a fast braking zone over the curb.
On a curb.
Yeah, no such thing as too much here. These trucks like it. It helps them rotate. But when you're trying to put the power back down, you got to be careful that you have both rear tires on the ground. It's hard enough to accelerate when both are, and a lot harder when only one is in contact with the pavement.
Oh, that's a curve.
See one going for a loop eventually?
Yeah, I don't know who it was.
Take a look at Jonathan DeCruzer right now running second, 2.7 seconds behind the leader. That gap closed a little bit, but Cameron Rich ran faster than last time by, so maybe We missed the lap before. The Hoosier closing that gap. Again, 14 trucks on the lead lap. It'll be 20 to go this next lap by.
So, okay, I want to ask you this. So, for DeCoulier, we saw, he ended up hitting on the same lap as Rich, and that didn't work out too well in his favor. He got it back up there. So, knowing how everything worked out that last pit stop cycle, these guys are going to have to pit again. Do you try to pull the undercut?
I was for it before, I'm for it again, but you have to beat the 17 to pit road. You can't let him beat you there, otherwise it completely invalidates any kind of strategy option you were going to have. But DeCoulier right now is actually running down the leader, so if you can get around him on the racetrack, that'll help that cause, and you can make whatever decision you want to make. But you can't let the 17 call this race for you. You have to get ahead of him somehow, get a strategic advantage.
If you look at that, here's a battle that's close on with Mac Hackenhorn and Tom Morris. These guys have found each other again.
And battling earlier this race, the battle's going to resume. Yeah, but fitting back to that point about DeCoulier, I mean, you're never going to beat a guy if you do exactly what he does, if he's faster than you. So if you want to win, you got to go out on a limb, do something crazy. If you can't beat him necessarily just on raw pace, but DeCoulier's closed that gap to 1.8 seconds, so maybe he has the pace to do it. He's just got to get up there and take it. He's been kind of flirting with the advantage, but hasn't quite gotten there yet as we watch Hackathorn in the 44 work his way up the mountain. There's Cameron Rich, the leader, once again. And you can see both of them in the same camera shot, so as DeCoulier grows in the 17's rear mirror, that's maybe making you a little bit nervous, Finian?
I would be. I would be a bit. I don't know if Rich has been, sandbagging a bit, just taking it easy as far as pace goes, and just going through the motions. So yeah, I don't know. It depends what Rich is up to. If he's been pushing this whole time and DeCoulier's been catching up, I would be worried. But yeah, if I was him, I would just ignore the mirror, just look at the track ahead of you, and just drive.
As we see him extend that lead again, I really think Cameron Rich is better heading up the mountain than DeCoulier, but DeCoulier gains all that time back, plus a little bit going down the mountain. As you see, the gap increased to 2.7 seconds heading up the mountain. So,
also notably, DeCoulier, I think DeCoulier put his fastest lap that last time by, 2:10.9.
A pretty good lap for DeCoulier. Not quite as quick as the 22 Peter Short, who has fallen off the pace back down 15 seconds off of Cameron Rich. 17 back from Rich, 15 back from DeCoulier. But, maintaining that gap, actually, he has not fallen back into the clutches of Eric Mickey just yet, which is a little bit surprising. I thought that damage would be a little bit more significant, but hang on to it. See Cameron Ridge working his way through Forest Elbow, back onto the Conrad Straight, working through lap traffic once more. I think that's the 99 again. And Nick Miller going 2 laps down. Still 14 on the lead lap. That hasn't changed, but Carlos Acosta might come into the clutches of Rich shortly. We see him just popping out of frame there. Whoa, 17, a little bit sideways again through the chase.
Every time he's gone through that corner, he's done it in some interesting way or another. He's either sideways or mounting the curve.
Well, sideways can be fast if you're as good as Cameron Rich is. Back onto the pit straight again. That lap by DeCoulier was over a second slower. So these guys have just been trading blows back and forth. But as I was saying, if DeCoulier wants a chance at this, he's got to A, do something different, or B, be faster. And I think it's a little bit easier to do the former. So it'll be interesting to see with the strategy-wise what they're going to do here. A couple drivers have already made 2 pit stops. I'm not sure if that strategically was to repair crash damage or something, or if he's already complete, but one of the drivers is Nathan Velez in 16th. But he's a lap down from the leaders, so he's not really much in contention just yet. Working their way up the mountain again, that lead gap extending to 3.1 seconds yet again, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Peter Short has actually reduced that gap to DeCoulier. just a little bit, but with that damage, he is chasing down. If you look at it, it really doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I was worried for him the way he hit the wall. I was worried if the rear axle would get knocked in a weird position, so he'll be kind of driving sideways. But apparently it's fine, and it might have knocked something in the right place. So, yeah, he's been doing fine. Definitely thought he was gonna have a lot more trouble. So good driving by him, especially at this track. You get damaged and trying to drive at speed. It's gonna be terrifying.
Doesn't have to make it through tech if you bang it in the wall. So. Get any air advantage you can. Sort drills the curb heading down the S's there into the dipper.
He's still driving close to the wall. He's not afraid.
I don't think you can let it scare you if any. I mean, if you hit the wall once, that's shame on you. If you hit it again, shame on me. But I mean, a little bit of smoke there. That's from the right front tire of Short, or if that was residual from someone else.
I think it was from someone else.
Let's do an update here on the 03 of Wade Lear, down 11 laps, so his race is officially over. Rusty Webb also 12 laps down. Mike Stevens 13 laps. Frank Sims the fourth. I know Roman numerals. So those drivers have officially retired due to the 11 lap down rule. The rule put in place by 3Wide to ensure that lap down cars are not a hazard to other drivers in the heat of the battle.
Oh, that's a
car around. I think that's the 99.
Yes, it is.
Nick Miller. He's facing the wrong direction, and now he's no longer. He was facing the wrong direction there, but he's going to retire that vehicle. We'll wonder if we'll see him back out on the racetrack. Meanwhile, up front, Cameron Rich, 3.3 seconds. Not much of a change up there.
Yeah, he was 5/10 faster than DeCouge at that time, but I still think he might have just been, just saving his stuff a bit to really put the hammer down. So, yeah, DeCouge is really going to have to come up with something creative if he wants to get back into this fight.
All right, we're past halfway now, working lap 21 of 38. We've about 7 laps to 10 to go. Wow, that was really close to the wall.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't hit it, though. That was incredible.
Yeah, maybe a little paint scrape, no harm, no foul. And, this is one of those tracks that you have to really get everything you can. Every inch of the racetrack, whether that means it's right on the concrete wall or right next to a berm or grass, you have to use all the racetrack. Now, the problem is, most racetracks, when you're on the edge of the track, it's just a rumble strip or runoff, and really not a whole lot of runoff here.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a street course up there. The wall is just right there, and you mess up, you're going straight into it.
Technically, it actually is a street course. It actually is public road
yeah.
for the remainder of the year. So technically, a street course, not really in the we wouldn't really classify it with Long Beach or the other street courses like Monaco, but definitely a unique beast and an extremely famous road course for a very good reason. Wow, 170 plus miles an hour onto the brakes again. Gonna miss the curb that time. He's got a habit of drilling that. And that lead almost 4 seconds now. So Cameron Rich solidly in command of this one. Let's take a look at Kevin Finn back there in 8th place and see what he's up to. Kevin Finn having a good run so far. Avon Racing Crown Royal 4th. Technically. That's what it says on the Excel sheet. My eyes deceive me. Now let's get iRacing on board to scan the Ford. I think that'd be a good thing for everybody. But again, Barks on that race car. Love that stuff. And Paul Ross is 11 seconds behind him, working their way down the mountain. Number 18 Chevrolet. Birth date is September 17th, 1985. 3WideRacing. I like that team name. Alright, everything's kind of calmed down. We had a little bit of action there last couple laps, but it looks like we're all pretty straight and orderly now.
Oh, I would hold that thought because the 5 truck is right behind him.
And closing quickly. Sam Close closing in on Paul Ross. That was going to happen at some point. You knew it was going to happen. And he's going to look to the inside of Kevin Finn, and he's going to take that. That's Paul Ross he was passing there, not Kevin. Kevin's up the road a little ways. Onto the pit straight. Alright, now I think this might be where you're thinking about making your second stop. We're about 17 laps from the finish, and that's kind of where they pitted the first time.
Yeah, you were looking. It seems that they're running. They pitted at about lap 12, lap 13, if I was mistaken. So yeah, we are approaching that pit window. So definitely, if you're gonna try to make a strategy call, you gotta make it now.
See Sam Close getting a little sideways there out of Griffin's corner. He can hang the rear ends of these trucks pretty far out, but you have to make sure you're off on the wheel because you let it go a little bit too far, you'll be going for a spin. And at Bathurst, that can mean you're going into the fence and your day's going to be over. So you got to be careful with that. You put the power down, get the sideways a little bit. All fine until you hit the wall, and then your teammates are mad at you, your crew chief is mad at you, your mom's mad at you. So don't put it in the wall. But Sam Close did a good job hanging on to that one.
Yeah, also, the thing about wheeling it is one thing you don't really consider too much is just getting tired. You know these guys aren't professional drivers. Casual driver. Your body usually isn't unless you're working out a lot. You're just a casual guy. You're working, and you're gonna get a little bit tired. We've been going for almost an hour now.
And still 34 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, so you're gonna get a little bit tired going through this and handling this car around this track. So you really want to try to have least amount of excitement driving the car as you can.
Yeah, missed an apex up there by McPhillamy Park and almost drove it off the racetrack, but did a good job hanging on to it. Nice big tall curb keeping it on. 170 plus miles an hour. These things rocket down the straightaways. Very similar to V8 supercars, although the V8 supercars might have a little bit better handling around here and run 5-10 seconds quicker, depending on the weather. Which is quite nice this evening. Nice sunny weather for these trucks to race in. Out up front, still 3.3 seconds, 3.4. DeCouger still about a second slower a lap than Cameron Rich, your leader, who we're looking at right now. All right, but some of the battles have subsided here, Finian, so I'm thinking we're going to do a little crank it up. Alright, as you're riding on board there with Paul Ross chasing down Matt Hackathorn. Matt's been in a pretty tight battle with a lot of drivers this afternoon. But Paul Ross trying to close that gap and make up for it. Out up front, no change, almost 4 seconds now. That gap has been all over the place the past few laps. DeCouger, Cameron Rich trading blows depending on the lap and depending on the traffic. So it would be 15 laps to go at the line the last time by, so we're getting there. Just about a half an hour remaining.
Yeah, the last time by, DeCouger pulled about 1.5 seconds. So yeah, it definitely depends on the traffic and, like you were saying, where you catch them. It depends on how well you're running. So and I'll also say now, bid window's opening now, so I would say it's about opening. So let's see if these guys start trying to make some moves. Play the strategy. So
yeah, the first car on the racetrack that has already made 2 pit stops is Nathan Velez, but as we said before, down a lap, not really in contention. So it'll be interesting to see who makes the first move and see how quickly these other guys follow. Like I said, I want to see DeCousier do the undercut and try to make up as much time as he can. If he can get off the racetrack 2 laps before the 17, he can make up all that ground that he's lost. Now, the other side of that is if Cameron Rich beats him to pit road again, and he's going to have to chase him back down again naturally, which is proven to be quite a difficult task.
He's definitely going to have to hope his picker is up to the task of getting him out there fast.
Watching Kevin Finn work his way down the Conrad straight towards the chase. 170 plus miles an hour. Let's go on board a lap with him and walk you through a lap here at Bathurst. We're going to be finishing up this lap right here. We're going to head to lap 25 for Kevin Finn. The Avon Racing Ford with Barks on the hood. So coming out of the last corner, we're going to start on the pit straight. Head down towards Hell Corner, a 90-degree left-hand corner with a little bit of runoff. That's about as much as you get here at Bathurst. A nice tall curb on the exit. So here's Hell Corner. This is going to lead into a long mountain straight with that very, very tall hill in front of you that can make the truck very upset if you crest it. A little bit too much speed and not enough grip. This straightaway get up over 150 miles an hour, almost to 160. See Kevin Finn, 156 was his peak speed here, heading into Griffin's Corner, and begin the climb up the mountain. This left-hand section is called the cutting, and this is, for me, this is the hardest part of the racetrack for me. Tucking this in and getting the power down is extremely tricky when the car comes off compression. And now heading into Reed Park, and the right-hander up into Frog Hollow. To get that power down, keep that V8 screaming. Left-hander into Solomon Park. A little bit of a straight to pull your belts tight and check your breath. And into Mephilimey Park. And down into Skyline, the highest point on the racetrack. And then into the S's. Downhill, hard on the brakes, down a couple gears. And heading towards the famous Dipper. The car gets really light there as the left front picks up off the ground. Now we're going to head down to Forest Elbow. The Falcon tire barrier right here. Going to tuck it in real tight here as you see Kevin Finn misses apex by a couple feet. And try to get that power down as much as you can leading into Conrad Straight. So you're going to use all that straightaway speed and all the draft to try to gain a competitive edge on your competitor. Fastest section of the racetrack, 175 plus miles an hour, into the chase. Quick right-left chicane combo. A lot of bad things can happen here if you don't have your brakes underneath you, so you got to check your brakes before you get here. Tuck it in tight up over the curb. Straighten the car back out and head into Murray's as the last corner here at Bathurst. And while all that was going on, Jordan Teal in 8th in the 33 truck has made his second pit stop.
Yeah, oh,
and he's off track.
I was gonna say, yeah, he was trying to. It seems like he was gonna try to work the undercut, and that might cost him a bit of time. Also, notably in the pits is Justin Kraneski, so he's making his second and should be final stop of the race.
Kraneski in the pits, and he's going to be out in that Intel Toyota. Again, any drivers that are lit up in yellow are on pit lane. Any drivers in blue are a lap down compared to the car we're focusing on. Any cars in red are a lap ahead of the car we're focusing on.
Mac Hackathorn's in. So was Paul Ross.
Yeah, so it's starting the chain of pit stops here. Now this is where I think DeCousier's got to make his move. You wait too long, and Cameron Rich is going to beat you down. And that gap is extended to 5.6 seconds. I don't even know if an undercut would help you at this point.
Yeah, you got to work something here. It all comes down to this.
Hackathorn off pit road. Don't want to get a speeding penalty here either. A really, really slow pit road compared to what these guys are used to.
I wonder if Hackathorn took 2 tires. It seemed like a quick stop.
Definitely did seem like a quick stop. Let's see if we can find out that information. 13.8 second stop, so probably 4 tires. And gotta get a load of fuel, so. Looks like he took 4, but just a quick stop. See the 99. He has had a struggle today. Nick Miller is 3 laps down, a little bit of damage. And he's going to spin. Oh, that's not him. That's the 31, Skylar Nissel, I think. Yep.
Yep, you're right.
Skylar Nissel just nosed it into the fence. Just a little loosey-goosey off Griffin's corner and get the power down too quick. Easy to catch you out. Meanwhile, Cameron Rich in pit lane. And out of pit lane already.
Yeah, so it seems like Daku's just going to work the overcut, and I don't know if it's going to work too well for him, so we'll have to see how it all works out, but I think Cameron Rich might have the advantage.
Yeah, well, I think really Daku's only shot here is to run the truck completely out of fuel, take as little fuel as possible, and just deal with some old tires. Maybe take 2. I think that's really his only saving grace if he can pull some kind of strategy move here to get himself ahead of Rich, but the gap's only going to be 23 seconds or so, 24 seconds back to Rich. So you got to really be quick on pit road and take a very, very short pit stop to make that a reality. Meanwhile, Eric Mickey up to 2nd, and Peter Short has dropped down to 4th after all those battles with Eric Mickey earlier in the race.
So Cameron Rich and Peter Short have both made their second stops. Eric Mickey and Dakuja are still going to be doing theirs. So we'll see this time by if Dakuja is going to answer to Cameron Rich and make a pit stop, or will he stay out and keep going?
I don't know what the fuel situation is for these guys. Not quite sure what the fuel window is here. But if I was Dakuja, I'd just go as long as I could. I mean, if you wanted a shot at Cameron Rich, you're going to have to do something way different. And pitting a lap after him is not really going to help you very much. So, over the curb there. Big bump. We'll see if he comes into the pits this time. I'm going to say he probably will. That's not necessarily the move I would make, but in he goes. And he might be out of fuel, I'm not sure. I can't see their telemetry on the brakes! And contact with the 31, and that's going to be significant damage to the nose of the 81 of Jonathan Dakuja. Not what we wanted to see.
Yeah, Nissel was just going in, the 31 of Nissel was just going in really slowly, and Dakuja was trying to go in as fast as he possibly could, and that might have damaged the car enough to...
Yeah, there's some pretty significant damage there on the nose of the 81. As he heads into the pits, and I'm not really sure if he's going to take any damage repairs, but it's maybe not significant enough to slow him down, but certainly not what he wanted to see. I think he was really trying to maximize the pit entry, and what maybe wasn't expecting the 31 to slow down so much. And you can't blame Nissel for that.
Yeah.
I don't want to blame him because that pit road entry is very tight and very tricky, and you definitely don't want to blow it and end up at pit wall. So.
Yeah, and Dakuja is going to lose a lot of time. He's falling back, and Peter Short has passed him. Dakuja, I think he might be repairing some damage.
Yeah, definitely spending a long time on pit road, so Peter Short's going to get around him to 3rd. Eric Mickey currently the leader, but he's not made his pit stop yet, so that will heed back to Cameron Rich as soon as he makes his stop.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty much between Peter Short and Eric Mickey come back on the track.
So they're going to have 10 to go when they get to the line.
There we go. Dakuja is out of the pits, and he's going to maintain 4th place.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a gap back to Justin Krzyzewski in the 23 seconds right now. So, not a horrible outcome for that contact and that pit stop, but definitely he was running better before.
Yeah, it's just got to suck that you were in 2nd place. You were like within 3 seconds of the leader. That happened, and now you're out of the running. So unfortunate for Dakuja.
Kind of curious to see where he's going to pop out in relation to Eric Mickey, because Eric hasn't made his stop quite yet. And he's only 30-some seconds up the road, so that could be a little bit tight there. And see, average pit stop has been about 35 seconds. This could be a tight battle between Mickey and Dakuja as the pit road pit stop sequence completes. And Steve Picacci and Eric Mickey are the only drivers on the lead lap not to make their final pit stop. Mickey really winding that engine up. And I expect to see him on pit lane this time by.
And yep.
Here he comes. So we'll start the pit lane timer, and he's going to work his way through a little pit chicane there. I think that's kind of like a little go-karting track in there. Kind of cute. Down to 35 miles an hour. I believe that's 36 or something weird like that.
Yeah, there goes Cameron Rich off in the distance. He inherits the lead back.
Australians got weird speed limits. Anyway, Cameron Rich takes the lead back, and 10 laps to go. Working lap 29 of 38.
Peter Short has passed him, and now we're waiting to see where he and Dakuja end up.
Guess we'll find out shortly. But Eric Mickey's already off pit lane, and the Cougar way far back. Did Cougar spin out or something? Oh, no, there he is. Hello. Timing just took a second to update. If we look ahead, there is Eric Mickey. So DeCouger's got a little bit of a chase now if he wants to get third spot back. And the race is on.
Yep, and yeah, so here we go. So we'll just recap. So yeah, Cameron Rich inherits the lead back, and from I don't want to say anything, but from what he's been showing, he might end up staying there.
Yeah, Peter Short, good recovery for him. Had a little bit of a struggle mid-race. I say struggle, he was like 5th. But Peter Short has made his way back to 2nd. So good execution by this team. And Eric Mickey had a pretty solid race up here, leading the point standings currently heading into this race, and running 3rd, so I imagine he will maintain that. And Jonathan DeCouger with that bent-up Chevrolet. Not exactly what we wanted to see. That was close.
Yeah, it seems like he did bring the gap down just a bit, made a slight indentation to his gap between him and Mickey, so we'll see if these guys can end up trying to fight it out. I believe they're on the same team.
I can check that for you. You gotta keep the audience busy while I go searching for it.
Alright, and while I do that, we'll go back to the 23 of Justin Konecki. Part-time driver, he's in 5th place. Top 5 ain't too shabby, so solid run from him. We got also Jordan Teal in the 33 in 6th place. Kevin Finn in 14. Oh, sorry, in the 14 truck in 7th. David Wilson 8th, and he's close behind. Matt Hackathorn in the 44, and Sam Close rounding out your top 10.
Update on that. DeCouger is actually not on the roster here, but I did see Bombshell on the rear end of his car, which would match Eric Mickey, so I'm going to assume they're on the same team. This roster is updated, but DeCouger might have been a late entry to this race, and making a good showing of it.
Yeah, I don't think it's the showing he would have wanted, as he was in the lead at the beginning of the race, so...
And not a bad race, but it was going better before.
Yeah,
so we'll
4th place is not shabby at all.
As we work our way, 9 laps to go now, 19 minutes left in this race. Long lap time here. And all the battles have pretty much subsided for the time being, and everyone's kind of straightened out. Andrew Rucker is going to take over 23rd from Tate Lytle back there. Although he's on his 4th pit stop, Andrew Rucker is in the number 20, so he's had one heck of a day. A lot of crash damage. And 7 laps down from the leader.
Yeah, it's one of those things as a driver. You want every point you can get, but it kind of just sucks putting around the track. So, get points for effort for him for keep going.
And let's not understate how different this is from the week-to-week short track racing that this series is used to. This is a very, very different beast. A lot more shifting, which can already throw off a lot of drivers, especially on the oval side. A lot of drivers are used to it, and also a lot are not. As we've seen in other iRacing, especially on the official side of things, some oval drivers don't really adapt as well here, but then they go to a short track and are much, much better than their other competition. So it really depends on the different kinds of tracks, and we'll see if Andrew Rucker is a little bit quicker in the next upcoming weeks, but not so great for him today. And back up, Jordan Teal, one of those drivers, we haven't really talked a whole lot about him today. Having a great race, running right now P6.
Yeah, he's been having, one of those quiet days. You're running pretty well. Nothing's really happening, and obviously that's the best days. Nothing happens to you. His truck is pretty much just as it rolled off the truck it came in. So, he's having a solid day in 6th place.
Yeah, that Eisentech Enterprises Ford, say that a little bit air quotes, motor. We're gonna have to get used to that because we're looking at an IC at Toyota, but obviously some drivers want to run some Fords. And again, iRacing, if you're listening, let's get a Ford. I'm all for Ford.
What is this? It's the only thing we're missing. We have three manufacturers in Cup, Xfinity, but we're missing the Ford.
Yeah, can't blame because actually we thought Ford was going to die out in the truck series, but then Thor Sport in real life converted to Ford and kind of brought that manufacturer back a little bit. So we hope to see that hopefully in the future. But Jordan Teal's Ford running P6, and it's got about an 11-second gap up to Justin Krzyzewski, who's having a pretty good race. Eight laps to go. We're going to be closing in on 7 shortly. Jordan Teal working his way through the chase and towards Murray's corner. Yeah, Cameron Rich's lead is 13 seconds, so he is taking a commanding lead. But Peter Short, with all the struggles that he's had, drilling the wall and the slow pit stop and a couple other factors he's had to deal with, being only 13 seconds back is not bad. If he had a yellow, I think he'd be a real challenger for the lead, and actually ran about 0.6 of a second faster last time by, and has the best lap in this race still, 2:10.8.
Now, okay, so I'm gonna ask you. I don't think he has enough time left per se, but would you try to push at this point in the race, or would you just, if you're in a position with some bit of damage, would you just be happy with where you are at the moment?
I mean, yeah, I'd like to play a psychological battle. I mean, he's got 15 seconds back to Eric Mickey, so he doesn't really have a whole lot to lose as long as he can keep it on the track. I'd say push it. And, if Cameron Rich is looking at his relative and he's watching that relative box, that gap is shrinking, that can really throw you off, as a driver. If you're watching that gap, if you're doing the math in your head, it can pull you out of your focus. So I'd say go for it. And you got nothing to lose. You're 15 seconds ahead of the next guy. If you push and you're a little bit slower, no big deal. You still got a 15-second gap. So we'll see what his lap time is this time by. Cameron Rich just ran a 2:11.1. It was a great time. So we'll see. Peter Short here is that yellow line on your ticker is going to drop underneath him. And they
2:11.1.
Yeah, pretty much matched each other. Advantage to Cameron Rich just by 0.03 of a second. They're pretty much running identically right now. Eric Mickey, see where he drops in here. And that'll be a 2:11.8.
Butcher behind him just running just a little bit quicker.
That gap down a little bit from the 4+ seconds it was a couple laps ago, so that gap has decreased. And that is a battle that we could see heat up as the laps tick off. Just under 15 minutes remaining in this race. We're going to have 6 laps to go the next time by. That damaged Chevrolet of the 81 at DeCouger making his way around. Got 13 trucks on the lead lap, and Nathan Velez in for another pit stop. So it looks like everybody's pitted twice, at least in the top 18 or 19 trucks. So those guys are the guys in contention. So I don't think we're going to see any more, obviously, as we have 6 laps to go this time by. And we'll be wrapping it up shortly. And again, post-race interviews will be conducted for the top few drivers. We'll have to take a short break after just to collect our breath and go grab those drivers in TeamSpeak. So stick around for that. And we'll be here every week that these guys are racing. You can check the schedule on the link provided in the description. Check out 3WideRacing League's website to check out when these races are. They'll be broadcasted at 10 p.m. every Sunday that they're racing, all the way through, when's the end of their season? November-ish?
Around there, yes.
Around November. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's for a while. And we'll be here right here on SimTV, on the SimTV YouTube channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't want to sound too monotonous there. But we have more viewers than we have subscribers. So those of you that are watching and have not hit that red button, hit the red button. Helps us out a lot. Also, I'm just do a shameless little plug here. If you have a one-off event, especially endurance events that you're looking to broadcast, send us an email at KyleHSimmer, SIMMER @gmail.com, and we can work on getting a deal for you guys. We got a lot of leagues already signed up, but we are looking to do more one-off events, NASCAR, dirt, anything you guys want. So send us an email and or contact us here on YouTube, and we'll be happy to work out a deal with you. All right, last time by Peter Short, 0.4 quicker, but it's not going to be quick enough. He's got a long way to go.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's a little too late for him. So yeah, it seems like he's going to probably cycle out in a second.
But impressive and a good points day.
Yeah, definitely.
So Peter Short's going to, if he finishes where he is right now, that will not be a loss of a day. It'll be quite a good run. And I think this is probably one of the trickier tracks on the circuit. I mean, as I was saying at the beginning of the broadcast, this will separate the men from the boys. The dirt tracks, the short tracks, those are beating and banging. You can get caught up in everyone else's stuff, but a little bit of luck there. But here, you got to use your skill and all of it to get yourself to the finish today. So these drivers all did a great job. Very few retirements. So if you look down at the bottom of the grid here, there's only 4 cars that are officially required to be out of the race due to the 11-lap down rule. A couple others might be out of contention, but they're still on the racetrack. So looks like 24th on back is out for good. Andrew Rucker still on the racetrack. He is a persistent guy out there, running 7 laps down, but on the racetrack at the moment in 22nd. And I think that really defines a team. You don't give up on a race like that. That just shows your persistence, and I think that will transfer into later good points days later in the season. If you can turn a bad day into a not terrible one, that's all that you need to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, 5 laps to go. Cameron Rich's lead has dwindled a little bit to 12.8 seconds, but as long as he keeps that truck on the racetrack, it'll be just fine. Looking now at the 39 of David Wilson. Haven't talked a lot about Wilson today.
No, yeah, just one of those guys, having a quiet, solid day. So, good on him. And so we're just gonna ride on board with him, looking through his laps. So, and also he actually just passed the 14 of Kevin Finn. That was interesting.
Yeah, David Wilson driving the Pilot Performance Group Chevrolet for the Sweetwater Brewing Company, as well as Red Oak Brewery, Oculus, Twitch. A lot of sponsors on that Chevrolet. And there's Kevin Finn again in the 14, working his way down through Forest Elbow.
Yeah, Finn, that was weird that he changed position. Actually, let's see if we can try to catch what happened. He was ahead at some point. So let's see if we can jump back just a little bit more.
Maybe this is where that position swapped. Ooh, yeah, there, little wiggle there, and oh my goodness!
Yeah, that was solid contact with the wall. The damage in iRacing didn't seem like it was too bad. If you when he comes around on the right side, it didn't seem like it was too bad of a damage, too bad a hit.
That was maybe some potential netcode there. He really walloped it on our end. Maybe it was a little bit less severe on his end of things, but that was sure. Oh, he's going to the pits. Maybe it was as bad as we thought it was.
Yeah. That's really unfortunate for him. He was so close to the end of the race. He's going to have to pit to probably get some required repairs.
Yeah, that was a pretty nasty impact there. And one of the things about us, these racing trucks, is they got some pretty good crumple zones in the front and rear, but those side impacts were really, really hurt. A lot of G-force involved there, not a lot of crumple zones. So Kevin Finn going to be in pit road taking some repairs for the time being. He's going to drop down the order a little bit. And again, Cameron Rich and Peter Short matching each other's lap times again. There's Steve Ficacci. I haven't really talked a whole lot about him after the first opening couple laps. A lap down from the leader, but having a decent run in 11th, top third of the field.
Yeah, he's got the 27 of Thomas Morris ahead of him, so these guys are the closest on the track, so we'll see if they can have a little battle before the race ends.
Yeah, keep an eye on that. Maybe we'll ride on board with Ficacci as we head up the mountain. A little bit of crash damage on the right front fender. No harm, no foul there. Into Griffin's corner. A little bit of lap traffic there. Again, this is where the walls really, really tighten, and it gets very claustrophobic here, especially when there's 2 trucks side by side. Oh, we're into the outside of the 94 of Michael Whitley.
Yeah, he wanted to get out of that battle.
Move over and let the 11 truck by. Work the way through McPhillamy Park now. And onto Skyline. Ficacci closing that gap ever so slightly, and he's going to take a run at him going down the mountain. The carry your momentum here, be easy on the brakes. You see Morris charging a little bit harder into the corner. Ficacci taking a smoother approach to it, and this is probably from Ficacci's GT3 racing experience. The GT3 cars really reward a smoother driving input. And it looks like Morris is kind of wrestling around.
Yeah, there's definitely 2 ways to approach it. You either go all in or you're a little bit more laid back. And definitely some benefit in certain situations.
Now, on the Conrad Straight, that big draft for the big hole in the air that produced, it's the delta, the miles an hour there. Not a whole lot. Morris got a really good run off the corner. Now going to head down into the chase. See if he takes any curb. Not quite. Going to keep it on the racetrack, all 4 tires. Into Murray's corner one more time. We're down to 3 laps to go now. Cam and Rich the leader, still, by 13.5 seconds. And again, Rich and Short matching each other's times once again. So those guys just back and forth. Short a little bit slower that time back. But if they were right next to each other, it'd be one heck of a battle. And you can see Steve Focacci closing in on Morris. So he might have a run at him if he can get a draft.
Yeah, 4/10 that time by, so... See if Focacci can try to make a move this time by.
It's down to 3/10, 2/10. Not going to have enough momentum to do it. Again, you can see Morris really charging the corner. A lot more brave on the brakes than Focacci, but as I was saying, Focacci's got that smoother driving style, and it might end up rewarding him here as we head up the mountain, and he's got a couple more tries going down the mountain to use that smooth driving to get past the 27. We're going to ride on board with the rear Morris real quick. Heading down into Forest Elbow again, and Steve Focacci closing that gap. He got a really good run there off the corner. He's going to have a great run on Conrad Straight. We'll see if he can take advantage of it. We'll watch the speed delta here, 2 miles an hour, 3 miles an hour.
Yeah, definitely taking advantage of the draft. Here he goes. He's going to make a move.
5 mile an hour delta, side by side. Will Focacci back out of it? No.
3 laps to go. You're not going to back out of this.
A great power move, but wow, Morris is good on those brakes. Side by side into the chase. Oh man, that was tight. Room is given.
Whoa!
Oh, 27 and 11 got very close there, but there.
27 gave him a little bit of a tap. I don't know if Focacci liked that or not.
I mean, that's pretty dang close racing for trucks at Bathurst. I'll give him credit for not just knocking each other straight off the track. See Focacci lighten up the rear tires.
There's still time remaining, my friend. Anything could happen.
Still 2 to go. Wow, Focacci is working over the 27 of Morris.
But yeah, Focacci's got to do all of that all over again and work that run back up.
Thomas Morrison, that Pinnacle Racing, got that stat. Toyota.
You got to wonder, you think Steve might give him a bit of a bump in the corner?
That'd be really brave of him, and I don't think he's going to have to, as he's going to head to the inside and not be able to complete that pass. So took a good look at it. I don't think he's going to have to, Vinny, and I think he's got enough pace to do it. He's just got to get lucky with a run. Will he move him if he has to? I think so. I mean, a little bit of bumpers never hurt anybody, and that's what these trucks are for. That's why they put fenders on them. If they didn't want them to rub, they'd take the fenders off. You have Formula One or something like that.
Formula Truck.
Formula Truck. There you go. There's a race. Oh, so we got someone either off the track or blown motor or something.
I believe they retired.
Yeah, just a little off-track excursion.
Oh, I believe that might be Paul Ross because he's currently...
Yep, that might be the case. But Paul Ross off the racetrack right now.
Unfortunate for him, he was having a solid day.
Although he's being shown in pit lane for over 2 minutes. That might not have been him.
Oh, yeah.
Someone went off in the gravel trap, but it wasn't pretty, so we'll give him that. But see Focacci, see if he can get a good run off the corner here down on the Conrad Straight again. Not quite as close as he was last time, but he might get another run at him. And Morris is going to go defensive this time. Will Focacci go to a look? He's going to look to the outside. Not close enough. That 27 is so good on the brakes.
And Cameron Rich has just come to take the white flag.
Yep, white flag. Final lap here. Lap 38 of 38 for Cameron Rich, and that lead is extended to 23 seconds.
Yeah, I think you can definitely, take it a bit easy. Just start your cooldown lap now. Just, don't get into any trouble.
There's Thomas Morris again, and Focacci...
Oh.
Maybe went for a loop?
Let's see if we can catch that.
Steve Focacci heading down into Murray's corner and got in the power too quick, did he? Yep. And,
Oh.
Didn't hit it. Wow, actually pretty good recovery.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. Had a solid run.
There's the 22 of Peter Short. Going to go around him and lap him again. Yeah, Short has done a great job after recovering from a little earlier race slide back down to P5 or 6 or so, and has moved his way back up in the second. So good run for him. He's going to bring it home P2 as long as he keeps it on the course. And
He's still going at it.
I don't want to jinx him yet, but... Right, and Cameron Rich coming out of Force Elbow for the final time. Get a good look at that Boeing Tundra. Because as long as he makes these last couple corners, he's going to be going to victory lane.
Yeah, solid job. That truck is pretty much clean. Maybe just a little bit of scrapes on the right side, but other than that, that thing is clean as a whistle.
I think it makes it look prettier when it's got a little scrape on the right side. Shows you've been racing hard. You see him bouncing over the bumps for the last time here at Bathurst. Working through the chase and towards Murray's corner. And Cameron Rich, driving the number 17 Boeing Toyota. And the American Diabetes Association and Southwest on board that truck as well. It's going to take the checkered flag here at Bathurst. Peter Short now working through the chase.
Yeah, definitely solid run from him, solid recovery, definitely earned the second place finish.
Very deserving of that. That was a great run by him, and, you know, a little bit of damage on that right side, but otherwise pretty clean. Oh! And as we say that...
It's like a V8 supercar.
That was a V8 supercar jump, and that was a little bunny rabbit over the curbing there, and he's going to take home P2. Solid victory. And Eric Makey going to bring home third. Excellent finish. And Jonathan DeCouger may be disappointed in that run, but, you know, fourth place ain't that bad. Let's not be kidding ourselves here.
And here's the part-timer.
Justin Krzyzewski in the 23. Down Conrad Straight in the Intel... What is that? Is that a Toyota? Looks like it. Yeah, there it is. Working his way through the chase. See if he takes a chunk out of the curb. Nope. Not quite Peter Short. There's about 10, 11 cars still left running on the racetrack. And Krzyzewski's going to come out of the final corner. Without a charter, he's going to take home 5th place. Great finish for Krzyzewski. Gordon Teal in 6th. Good race for him. Good solid points day. That 33 One Love machine. Oh, he's going to send it for a drift.
I was going to say nice quiet day. He almost ended it there. But yeah, solid job. Nice 6th place job.
We're going to jump back to our leader doing his cool-down lap. I just want to say congratulations to Cameron. We're going to interview him shortly here on TeamSpeak. We're going to take a quick break in just a minute or two. But Cameron Rich, like we said earlier, just such a clean drive.
Yeah, definitely.
Early battles with DeCouger. But once we got to halfway, it was pretty much over.
Yeah, you know, that's, I guess, really the thing. Just keep the truck clean in this case, and just have a good job. Do a good job.
We're going to ride on board, see if he's going to do a couple burnouts when we get back to the line. And that is going to complete this race, round 5 of 17 in the 2018 Nathan Young Designs Truck Series. The 17 truck is going to come around one more time on his cool down lap, excuse me. And hopefully he'll send it for a couple burnouts here. Oh, back to the fence a little bit.
There, he got some damage.
Yeah, didn't need to go through tech anyway. That's no big deal. Do a burnout down the front straightaway. Cameron Rich in the 17 Toyota. Woo! Whipping it around, having a little fun. Not bad, Cameron. Not bad. Woo! Ooh. And into the wall again. Doesn't need to go through tech. It's fine. It's fine. I don't know if that'll pass the laser inspection, but continuing to do those burnouts. Congratulations to Cameron Rich. All right, Finian, we're going to jump to break real quick. It'll be about a 2-minute break, and we're going to try to grab Cameron Rich for an interview and a couple other drivers as well. So we will be right back. Right, welcome back to Sim TV. I'm Kyle Harry, and we're here with your race winner, Cameron Rich, driver of the number 17 Boeing vehicle. Cameron, you had a great race. You were battling early with Jonathan DeCouger. What does it take to take a victory here at the mountain?
A lot of balls. Yeah, it's just gotta hit your marks every lap. Don't stuff it in the walls, and pray to God that you don't get involved in something. It was a really exhausting race, actually. One of the more exhausting races I've been in. Shoot, I'm gonna go take a nap after that one.
Definitely was a long race, and 38 laps here at Bathurst. You were a couple of laps. You were trading blows in lap times with the 22 car Peter Short. Was there any point in the race where you were uncertain that you're gonna be able to run away and take such a huge lead?
Well, I was never really trying to run away. I was just trying to, do my own thing and not end up flipping or something stupid, embarrassing myself in front of the broadcast and everybody watching. Really, I knew I probably could have pushed harder in the last part of the race, but there's no need to. I just probably would have hit the wall or spun out or something. I actually kind of did almost spin out there without about 10 to go, but it was actually yeah, it was more about hitting your marks.
Yeah, racing the racetrack. Cameron Rich, your winner here at Bathurst. Thanks for talking to us. We're going to head back to break one more time real quick, and we'll be right back with a couple other finishers.
All right, thank you.
All right, welcome back to Sim TV. We're here with your second place finisher, Peter Short, driver of the number 22. Peter, you had one heck of a race there. You had a little off-track excursion and damaged the right side of your truck, but ended up recovering from that and finishing second. What was your day like out there today?
Yeah, I think I damaged the left side, the right front, the right rear. So pretty much all the corners of my car were tore up, but was able to keep the car going straight for the most part. And that's a key thing at Bathurst. Just get to the finish, and if you can do that, likely you'll have a pretty decent finish. I didn't have much practice time this week. I actually came back from a trip to New Zealand, and I had about 37 minutes worth of practice at Bathurst, and a couple of the other guys been practicing all week. So I really can't complain with second place. Just kind of, kept it clean. I know some of the people around me had a few issues, and I was able to take advantage of that and get up to second. All credit to Cameron. He kept his car pretty much clean the entire race and was lightning quick. I think towards the end of the race, I think, I was kind of equaling him on pace, but he definitely was more consistent than I was. So all credit to him. He's my teammate, so it's cool to get a 1-2 for Eisentech.
Absolutely. And you had a couple battles there with Eric making the number 6. There's traded spots back there a couple times. What was the racing with him like today, with all that close racing with you and him?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, driving a car around Bathurst, let alone one of these stock cars around Bathurst, is a dance. You're basically breaking traction up off the corner, trying to get as much power down as you can. And every once in a while, you step a little bit too far over. And um, I think Eric let me by the first time, and then I blew it into the next corner, and he got back by, and then I had to basically do the whole thing over again and caught up to him and did some side by side stuff. There was some over unders that we did. I mean, it was a lot of fun. You know, I come to race and I try to race as clean as I can. And when you get those side by side battles, it's just super, super fun. That's what we are all here for. And all credit to Eric. Eric was pretty fast too.
Awesome. Well, thanks for talking to us, Peter. Congratulations on the second place finish, and good luck in the next race.
Thanks.
All right, Eric Mickey, driver of the number 6. Congratulations on your third place finish, buddy. You had a good battle there with Peter Short a couple times. What was the race like from your perspective this evening?
Thing is a handful. These trucks were not built for this place. It's it's difficult. It's tiring, but it's also fun to a point. It's kind of scary half the time. It was everything.
You were lugging that big 3,400-pound stock car there for 38 laps, driving with Peter Short. There was a couple close battles with him there. He pounded the wall and had a pretty good recovery, but you seem to have a pretty clean race from your perspective. Did we miss anything? Looked like your car was in pretty good shape.
I got a 1X from sliding through the chicanes on the entrance to pit road. I'm not sure why pit road entry needs chicanes, but I missed one. And that was, besides some scary moments where I almost lost it under braking on the downhill or down the mountain, it was a pretty straightforward, clean race. It was what I was hoping for. I thought if I could run a race like that, I'd probably be a top 5 truck, and if anything happened to Cameron or Peter at the front, I'd be able to capitalize and maybe do something better. And Dekusher, him from Scars and everything. We called him in tonight to fill in, and he had a lot of pace. And I lucked out by getting this third because he had some issues on his second pit stop. So race went about as I expected, but also a little bit better than I hoped. So good points day, and that's really what matters.
Yeah, let's talk about the points. You came in here leading them, but just by a little bit. And third place ain't bad here at Bathurst. But as we look to our next race, what are your predictions for the next one and moving on towards the rest of the season?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Eldora is the next one, and I don't do dirt, so it's gonna take some practice over the next 2 weeks to figure that out. But that's another one where I think it's gonna be all about survival, kind of like tonight was. So I'm hoping if I can figure out how to at least get the car around there somewhat decently, I might be able to survive and come away with at least a top 10, something that I can be happy with, and then we go back racing after that.
Awesome, Eric. Thanks for talking to us. Congratulations on your third place finish, and good luck in the next race.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to see you guys out here doing this, picking up this series too. You guys do a good job. And I just want to before I go, thank Corey and 3WideRacing, all the admins who put everything together. Nathan Young Design sponsoring the series. It's a fun league to be a part of. Fun, good competition. Tonight's race went really well, I think, in comparison to what I think a lot of people were expecting. So it was a good showing.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Eric, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. All right, and we're going to wrap this one up. I think we've been live for almost 2 hours now, Finian, and 38 laps here at Bathurst. Cameron Rich comes out on top. Eric Mickey maintains his point lead with a nice solid third place finish. We're going to head to Eldora for the next one. It'll be right here on Sim TV starting at about 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, live on YouTube. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at sim_TV. And we'll see you in please, next
2
week?
weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks from now for Eldora. From SimTV, I'm Kyle Harry here with Finny and Nakuna. Thanks for watching, and thanks for supporting. SimTV out.